Alright guys, so how's it going today? So we're dead in the water again. Got the little farmall up on the Trail Smoother 5000. I put in 3 gallons of water. Honestly, I think that's too much. I don't know, she's really digging in here. Of course, this dirt's really loose too. My one strap come undone a little bit, but I'm not gonna fix it until I'm fucking done. So heard a little bit of thunder out in the distance through the southwest. There is a storm up there to the north. It's not really coming this way. It seems like it just sits there and does nothing. So the tractor is going to sit here. I just got done draining the fuel bowl out again. I'm kind of behind on videos a little bit, but nothing horrible. But so somebody might have given me some input onto that, but whatever. Because I know I talked about it in the previous video, but yeah, I don't know. It's just it was doing good though. Like again, I'm in second gear. I think I'm only about half throttle. Whereas when I was harrowing with the harrow that looks like a cultivator, you know, the spring tooth harrow, I had it in second gear and I had it pinned wide open. So it took more power to pull that thing. I don't think it's taking too much power to pull this because I'm doing it just fine in second gear, about half throttle. So I forgot to put off on again. See, it's sitting right there on my desk. I got a deer out in the field. So kind of just is what it is. Unfortunately, I think it's just gonna have to sit here for a while, and I didn't bring any tools to pull any spark plugs, and I don't think that's really the problem. It was running. Again, it was my fault. I guess I didn't have the throttle opened up enough. I'm more of that type of person that only wants to give it enough RPMs to go, and then once I get going, well, then I'll give it more. I should just pin the thing wide open and just give her, but you know, I don't ever do that because I don't like running engines fast when they don't have a load on them. Once they get a load on them, then it's perfectly fine. But yeah, I really only have one round left, and that's just right down the damn center. Towards the end where I make my loop, I don't really bother doing the whole thing, just because I don't really drive there. So I didn't really have too much more to go, unfortunately. But now we're dead in water again, or dead in fuel, because it's most likely flooding. But the last few minutes, though, it was running a little bit rough, but it wasn't like the other day when I was harrowing with it, and it just sounded like it lost one cylinder, and then it would catch it, you know, like it was really lacking fuel. See, this time it wasn't really lacking too much fuel, but it was missing enough that, you know, it really just, yeah. So you can see I got the redneck exhaust pipe on. Surprisingly, that's doing pretty good. Now I do have a little exhaust leak right here, but that's where it's splitting. But that little bit of leak isn't going to really do anything. It gets most of the noise and the exhaust up the top, so it's kind of, tractor's a little bit more. It's not 100% quiet. It's definitely not like if you would have a muffler on, but it gets it a little bit higher up. Even the sound, it gets it a little bit higher up, so it's not right in your face. But so I'll definitely be running the pipe on it for the remainder of the time that I run it like that. So, but fortunately, I don't know when I'm gonna get back to finishing this. I guess whenever I get done making the video, maybe this would have dried off enough that maybe it'll refire. So, of course, it'll blow tons of white smoke and black smoke and all that good stuff, right? So it was doing that even in the yard when I went to go start it. It was having a hard time even wanting to start, and that's not normal for it. So since the tractor is being actually worked harder than it's ever done in quite a few years, the tractor doesn't really know what to do with it. So, you know, the carburetor doesn't know what to do, and it's probably all out of adjustment. My uncle thinks that maybe it's the float, but I don't know. He doesn't really want to tinker with it because he says he's not even 100% sure where it needs to be at. Just fucking adjust it and I'll run it. Obviously the fuel bowl or the fuel float is not going up all the way like it should. So it could be flooding it. So I don't know if there's some kind of adjustment screw inside there or not that needs to be turned in some more to maybe get the float up a little bit more. I mean, it wouldn't take much to, I suppose, do that, but we're not really too sure. So I don't mess with carburetors too much myself, so I don't know exactly how they work. Besides, that's where the boom boom happens, and that's how the engines run. So that, and with air and spark and fire, you got a running engine. So luckily, though, going home, this will be staying down here. I'll just throw it in the corner. This will stay down here all summer. So the tractor will be going home with no load on it. And there's not much of a load there anyway, but it's just, it'll be less of a load for it. So, but I want to finish this. So it needs to run, and needs to run perfectly fine until they get done. I only have that last round. Some areas I think you could use a second shot. Well, not a second shot. It's where the trail is a little bit wider than the rest. So you have like a little area that hasn't been done yet. I don't really have to do that. I could just, whenever I go down with the four-wheeler, just hit it with the four-wheeler, run it over, and that'll smooth it out real good too. So, and then I noticed that too. I can't remember if I noticed this before or not, but the fan bearing here, all this assembly bullshit here, it's got some play in it. So that's going out as well. So that'll have to get replaced, probably not this year. So there's not enough slop in there to justify not running it like that. There's just enough play in there to tell you that there's, you know, it's going out. Because that really should be tight. Because if it's loose, well, then your belts are going to kind of wander too, and then it might be harder on the belts. So, but I don't know. For right now, this tractor's going to be a piece of shit. For the rest of this year, it's going to be a piece of shit. Until we get the carburetor figured out, get the manifold replaced. That's probably going to be the worst of it. And then after that, just kind of start doing little odds and ends to it, like, you know, oil pressure gauge, water temperature gauge. You know, just a little, it's just the little things that need to be done. It's never really going to get a paint job, I don't think. Oh, another thing too is it's going to get new rims on the back at some point. Probably could use some new tires. It definitely needs a new steer here. Like I said, we replaced the other one, but this one seems to still be holding air, even though it's pretty cracked up. It needs to be replaced. So, but I'm sure it'll last the rest of this year. Maybe I'll change it out next year, but so, but I think what I'm going to do is the way I want to do it, and if it'll play out that way, when it comes time to order new rims, I'm going to order new tires as well. And I think I can go through the gas station where I get my diesel fuel from. That's where I got the steer tire from, so I know I can get another one from him. And I'm sure he could get me these rear tires. And then I'll just get the rims, and I'll have to go through Steiner to get them. And then I guess maybe paint them red, International Harvester red, or farmall red, I guess it would be. I know it's going to look kind of ridiculous because, well, your tractor looks like shit, but you got 2 shiny rims. So it's all just the little things with time that can get changed out and repainted. Oh, and then the fuel shutoff needs to be replaced too. It's got a slight leak in it. It does not 100% shut the fuel off like it should. It's got a drip to it. So that would explain why over the winter months, when it was sitting and I pulled the tarp off, the carburetor was soaked in fuel, and then I had the hood laying underneath. That was soaked in gas. So it's flooding the carburetor, and then it just runs out of the carburetor wherever. And then, yeah, then it goes onto the ground. And we can't have that. So I think the plans are just deal with it for now. I think we could stop a large amount of the leaking if we just rebuild the carburetor. That'll take care of it, maybe flooding if that's the problem, which it probably is. And then, yeah. A little here, a little there. And then I kind of, I guess at some point, as we slowly kind of fix the tractor up. I noticed that the PTO is leaking down here. So I'm guessing there's a seal out or something there. It's just a very small drip. Like it's not even a drip. It's just damp. It's moist. So I'm thinking it really should only be doing that when the PTO is running, but I guess it's doing it just while the whole thing runs regardless. So probably going to have to pull that at some point and see if we can put a new bushing or a new seal in there or something. Because my uncle said that the rear end did leak, but I thought he was mostly talking about, because underneath these drives, I think there's like it'd be like an upside down cover, I think there's just like a big gear or something in there, and then it holds oil to lubricate your outer drive areas. So, but I think he says that's where it leaks. So that's why he always, when he was running it back in the day, he always had to put little cans under it to catch that oil. And then when he would run the tractor again, then he'd just dump the oil back in. So, but I haven't noticed them leaking yet. So there's a possibility that they could just, from sitting so many years, that maybe the dirt that built up in it over time, maybe it just got really, really hard, and now it's not letting any oil leak through until that decides to get soft again. Once it gets soft from oil hitting it, well, then it'll probably start leaking. But then I'll have to, that's when I'll be able to, kind of figure it out where it's leaking, figure out if it's a seal that can be easily fixed, or if I'm going to really have to pull this tractor apart, which is not what I want to do. I don't really want to have to do that, but I mean, I guess you got to do what you got to do. So, yeah. So, don't know. I imagine the tractor's cooled down a little bit, but it's probably going to throw a fucking hissy fit trying to start, because it was starting, or it was having a hissy fit even in the yard, and it's been sitting all night. So, and I kind of wanted to water the garden tonight too, because we haven't done it for a few days, because we've been getting kind of little spits of rain here and there. But I don't think, but it's never been enough to really do anything. So, kind of just is what it is, I guess. So, but yeah. It does kind of look though like the mower down here has a leak in it too. Like it's got a little bushing or a little gasket out or something. Again, it's not a horrible leak, but it just looks like it's damp like everything else. So good luck trying to find any parts for that. I don't know who you would get parts for these old mowers. So Yeah, I still don't really know what make this, or what model number this is. But I've tried to look it up on the, I just tried Googling it, because you're never going to find anything on here. I can't. You think that there would be names and numbers and shit written on here somewhere. But all I came back to was an AI or something like that. I think it was 20 something. And those numbers for that kind of a mower that I was looking at anyway tell you that it's a highway mower, which would be yellow, and that's what this is too, is that it's yellow. So it's got to be that model number, that AI or whatever the hell it is, and then 20 something, whatever. So, but I don't know. I don't see any numbers written on here. So, I guess you could look it up in the parts book, or whatever that I have, and then maybe look online or something, see where that kind of gets you to. So, I know that there's a stamp here in the frame, which you can never read now. It looks like 86. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Another 6 or an 8. 8-DE. So whatever the hell that stands for. It's in the tube for the tractor. So I don't know. Yeah, hopefully I can finish. I mean, I only got one round left, and then I can get out of here. Last night or the other night when I was harrowing, I didn't get back to like fucking 9:30 or quarter to 10. It was ridiculous. So I would have came on here earlier in the day and done this, but you know what? It's too freaking hot. And now all of a sudden, now the freaking wind literally just stopped. So I don't know, you win some, you lose some. You come down here late in the evening, well, then you have no sun, but then you got no wind either. You come down here during the day, well, then it's too hot, but then there might be a slight breeze floating around. So, but yeah, anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. I need to try to get this thing refired back up so I can get on with my day. Like I said, there's not much left here to do, and I'm just going to leave that thing behind, the Trail Smoother 5000. Just leave it behind, and it can stay down here. That way, if I have to do it again, just come down here, hook up, and go. Don't have to drag it back across the field or whatever. So, I don't know. I guess it'll just be pretty much one thing at a time. So, but what are you going to do? So, it is what it is, unfortunately. So, I guess I'm going to open the fuel bowl back up. What I do is I don't open this thing all the way. Not that there's really no control over this. It's going to flood no matter what. I think I'm going to try it there, just not even half a turn. Because it's going to get plenty of fuel anyway when it runs. So, just no sense of having the fuel thing opened all the way, even though you're supposed to. But I don't think it needs to be. So we'll let that fill back up with gas, and then maybe it'll fire up. I'm sure it's had plenty of time. The tractor's still pretty hot, but that's nothing new. So, but yeah, there you go, guys. She's a stalled out tractor again, but whatever. It's better. It's not much better than dealing with Big Red. Big Red, I can do it a lot faster, but I have limited battery juice on that thing too, so it's easier with this because this has its own charging system. So it's just it'll run off itself. So I got a comment. I see. So I don't know. But I know that one guy, like I said, he restored one of these things, and he restored it 100%. He went through every square inch of that tractor. So, but yeah, I wish first I had the money and the time to do that. If I had a little bit more just brain knowledge, I'd probably... I mean, yeah, I did a lot just to get this freaking thing to run. I mean, I literally pulled the head off, you know. But I had to. I had no choice because I had to know. I had to see what the hell was going on down here. So, but... yeah, these tractors have to run anyway because they're not going to... you're never going to get the bugs out of them, you know. And I'm sitting so many years, you know... so look at that. It's just pouring right out. Now, why is it doing that? Now, that is... look at it. It's just pouring out. Well, that's not good. It's leaking out of here. So that's the problem, is that gasket's fucked. Wow, why is that pouring out? Like... I might be done. So I opened up the fuel thing all the way. I don't know if that's causing a problem or not. Wow. This is holy. Oh my God, it's... what is going on here with this? Holy fuck, it's coming out of the... wow. It's coming out of the fucking oil breather, or the... ooh. That is not good. This tractor's down. It's done. I don't even know if it's going to run back. It's going to have to run back. That's not good. Wow, this got ugly real fucking fast. That is not good. That's horrible. Yeah, that's done. I don't even know if this thing's even going to run. It's going to have to... it might have to get towed back. That is just... I'm not smelling any... because it's getting a lot of... that just smells like oil. And I got oil kind of shooting up out of there too, and that's not healthy for it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to abandon ship, because I have to have... fuck me. I don't know. That's not good. There's definitely something wrong with that carburetor. Yeah, she's done. It's going to need a rebuild kit now if I want to keep fucking running it. I guess the best thing to do is just to unhook. I'll just leave it right where it is. I'll come back tomorrow with Big Red and I guess finish what I have to finish. And then I'll have enough juice to finish that and then get home off of Big Red. This is horrible. That was just pouring out. I've never seen it that bad. Wow. I'm going to have to run it that way, or at least try to get it so we can get it moving enough to where yeah. Son of a bitch. I bet you that fucking oil bath thing is just plumb full of fuel. The way it was coming out of that, too. It looked like it was coming out of that. Because it wasn't coming out, well, not really coming out of there. That's horrible. It's still dripping and I got it shut off. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the oil bath. And there is a line in there to how much oil you're supposed to have in there. And if it's over that oil line, then what it's doing is what it was doing, it was back feeding back into here when it should have just stayed in here. But it was back feeding into the oil bath. That's not good. But I'm going to unhook first before I even attempt to try to start it and limp it back to the yard. Fuck. There should be plenty of fuel in there now. At least even just what's in the bowl. To limp it home. I mean, I might crack the see, I'm concerned about even doing this again. Because I have it shut off. So, just a little crack. Because I don't remember. No, I never did drain it. Huh. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna pull the oil bath and unhook and see if I can limp this stupid thing home, because this tractor's done. It's not gonna run like this. I don't know why I decided to crap. Every time I come down here with something, besides the 1586, the 1586 came down here, did his job, and didn't complain one fucking bit. This thing's complaining all the time. But of course, being an old tractor and sitting for so many years, it's going to have its issues. And the carburetor is definitely junk on this thing. I think you can buy like a whole brand new carburetor, like it's already completely rebuilt and stuff, or whatever, but there's nothing really wrong with this. It's just you could rebuild this one and it would be fine. It's definitely going to need a new seal or gaskets and rebuild kit. It's just, yeah, it's done. So let me do that quick, guys. I'm going to unhook and then take the oil bath thing off, see how full that is. If it's plumb full, then we know it's got an issue. And then I guess just head for home. Right, nothing I can do. So anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. So I guess I have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.